Hi, everybody. On a recent webinar, we had a number of questions that we weren't able to get to because of the time. And Alec, our visionary, is with me to answer those questions. And Alec, this is my first question. How do I know when it's time to hire an integrator or second in command?
You know, we've been there. I've been there myself. Our clients have been there, and it's it's usually time when you're not enjoying your work. You don't even realize it. Your energy is being zapped. You're having a hard time to muster up enough energy to make it through the day. You're realizing you are the bottleneck, right? You're in multiple seats. For me, I was in that visionary seat. I was in that integrator seat. I was also in finance. I was helping a little bit with sales and marketing. And so traveling from a marketing meeting to a finance meeting was arduous, right? Your mind had to shift. And so I was in multiple seats, and I decided to give myself a letter grade as a visionary, as someone overseeing finance, someone overseeing the business as an integrator, and they were not very good. They were C's and D's, and I thought, man, this is not good. I probably would fire myself if I had someone else in this role. So you're the bottleneck. There's some drama maybe on the leadership team. Some individuals are not getting along. You're feeling like maybe you have to be the referee. That's a symptom I've seen in organizations. Lack of communication. Something, I thought, well, hey, I'll be clear. I'll communicate what needs to be done. And the team was confused. And so I realized, and I've seen this with my clients, is that it's not something they love to do. I believe I said it once. Why do I need to say it multiple times, or really articulate when something needs to be articulated? And I struggled with that. I see our clients struggle with that. So when there's lack of communication, there's chaos. You're not meeting your goals. Your company is not meeting. The rocks are not getting done. Last minute scrambles to try to get your rocks done. You're not hitting your goals. If you're running on EOS or another operating system, you're having a really hard time with the cadence of meetings and beating the drum. And so it's one of those things where you're not sleeping well at night. I've seen my clients who they'll get some bad news, whether it's a key employee leaving or revenue falling short, and they just want to close the business. And so that's usually a good indicator that it's time for an integrator. Or your company is really growing and you realize, man, I am better served. This is my unique ability. It's maybe it's in a sales role, maybe it's big relationships, and you're thinking, man, if I just had someone to run my business, I could accomplish even more. And so that's probably the more healthy answer to your question there, Kat.
Okay, that's great. So when and how do I get my management team involved in the hiring process?
So at Vision Spark, we highly recommend that you get them involved early in the process. So number one, let them know that this is a decision you're making. So, you sit down with your team and say, team, I have an announcement. We're going to be hiring an integrator, second in command, to help run the business. This is not my sweet spot. And there are people out there that are really good at this, and our company can be taken to the next level. And so we're going to be making this key hiring decision, and I want your input. I would like you to provide input. So at Vision Spark, when we work with a client, our success rate's super high. We get the stakeholders involved. So the leadership team is involved in the process in terms of who they think would do well in the role, what success looks like, what are the key behaviors, traits, and values in this individual.
Okay, so then how do I attract the right integrator, second in command, or team member to my open position?
So you really want a really strong position profile. It has to be well written. You want your position profile you should hear comments from candidates saying, I wasn't even looking, and my spouse read this job posting and they said, you need to apply. This is you. That's how you know you have a really strong position profile. So it should be written in a way to attract talent. So for our positions, it's not uncommon for us to get over 200 applicants in the role. So a strong position profile posted on job boards. Talk to your network. I always say the ABCs of hiring are always be courting. You always want to be talking to people and networking, and reach out to your network. And if you're struggling with getting candidates in any position, it's probably a branding issue. So don't be afraid to invest in promoting your company and your company culture.
That's super. Yeah, we find that great success in that position profile stage. So what are the key strengths or attributes that you should my second in command or my integrator have?
So number one, they have to be really good at problem solving. They have to have strong problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, strategic thinking skills. So it's important to evaluate them and making sure they have a strong enough mental acuity to be able to problem solve. If they don't have higher mental acuity or high problem solving skills, they should provide experience in that role. So you'd want them to offset that by having experience. Sometimes it's hard to afford someone that has lots of experience. So we have found success, our clients, in terms of their budget, with having someone who has really strong problem solving skills. They need to be organized. Visionaries are not known for their organizational skills, so they need to be organized, good at time management. They need to love to plan, sticking with the plan, enjoy planning. That's super important. They need to be process oriented. So they're going to be developing systems and playbooks. So they have to enjoy developing those processes, and they have to make sure the team follows those processes. That's something that visionaries are not good at, but good integrators and second in commands are really good at. They need to love to manage, coach, and hold people accountable. That's something that they need to enjoy doing. Visionaries, this was probably, part of the first question you asked me, Kat, is when do you realize you need to hire one? And it's like, you know what? I don't enjoy leading, managing, holding people accountable. I don't enjoy coaching. That's when you need to hire someone, and that's a key trait for that second in command. And then at Vision Spark, we have an interview. And they need to score high in 12 areas of what makes a great leader. And so those are the key attributes for a second in command.
So with all of those strengths and attributes in mind, how can I assess if my candidate truly has the skill set and personality to be the right person in the right seat?
Yeah, so at Vision Spark, we have a service we offer. So if you have an internal candidate or a candidate that falls in your lap, we have something called the Right Fit Profiler, and it evaluates the candidate in 12 areas of what makes them a great leader. It also evaluates their mental aptitudes and their personality dimensions. So that's a service that we offer. If you're going to choose to do it yourself, I would highly recommend an assessment tool that evaluates their mental aptitudes and personality, and make sure they are a strong leader and strong manager by asking them some really probing, research-based interview questions.
So once we find our superstar and we get them hired, how can we build and strengthen the relationship between the visionary and the second command or integrator?
Yeah, that's really important. I can't emphasize this enough. The answer is time. It's spending time. We have clients, early on in the process, and Vision Spark's been around over 10 years now, but early on, before we knew this was a problem, we'd have a client call, say, hey, so-and-so's not doing a great job in their role. And through some questioning, I would find out that this client, this visionary, never shared with the integrator what success looks like, how they're going to be measured, and how they're going to be held accountable. So it's super important that you take time to communicate that. And then you want to have a strong cadence of meetings. So my integrator, John, and I, we met once a week for a half a day. Well, initially we met every day for about an hour, and then we pared it back to once a week for about 4 hours. And now we still meet once a week for 90 minutes. And so the time is super important. That check-in is super important. You want to ask, how are you doing? How are things at home? What are some wins this past week, both personally and professionally? So that is super important. We have an assessment that we do. It's called a side-by-side, where it evaluates the visionary and the integrator. And so it's really good to make some time with Bethany on our team. And Bethany can help you with learning more about yourself and your integrator to improve communication.
Definitely, she can. So how can I attract top talent with an affordable but incentivized benefit and compensation package?
Yeah, so your culture needs to be strong. Individuals want to work for a company with really good, healthy culture. And if you do have healthy culture, you want to advertise that. You want to make sure the individuals on your team are in their unique ability, as what Dan describes. This is what they're really good at, they love doing, what motivates them. So that's a way to attract talent that may not be someone that is maybe under market value. You can attract them with a really good culture and a good purpose in your company. And also a profit sharing plan. And so you want that plan to be really simple. There's some good books out there about incentive plans. Brad Hams has one called Ownership Thinking. Alex Freitag has one called Profit Works. You want an incentive plan that is around the behavior you want. So for my integrator, I want him to hit a certain profit number. So sales need to be certain level, expenses need to be at a certain level, and it came down to profits. So I've created a really simple plan for my integrator, and he gets incentivized based on company profits. And so you want incentive plans that are simple. There's some really good ones out there, but if the people don't understand how they're going to be rewarded, then it's not a good plan. So keep it really simple.
Yes, definitely. So this has been great, Alec. I hope that we've answered all of your questions. And if you have any, that you need a follow-up to, please reach out to us at Vision Spark. You can reach out to me personally. It's Kathy at vision-spark.com. And I'd love to have a discovery session with you if you feel like you're ready for your integrator. Thank you all for your time today.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.